Over the past few years, we've made a lot of top 10 lists of different types of guns for concealed carry, home defense, for the police, for military, and these are some great guns. But oftentimes the guns that I put in the top 10 list aren't necessarily guns that I personally want to own myself. A certain gun may be on that list because it's perfect for that task. Many of the guns I own, I just simply own them because I like them. And a lot of times they may not be very practical. So what we're going to take a look at is we're going to take a look at my top 10 favorite guns. Number 1, CZ452 Ultra Luxe. I love the CZ452 Ultra Luxe for many reasons. It's one of the most accurate .22 rifles I believe out there. I love the 28-inch barrel because it completely suppresses the sound of the .22. I feel like I'm actually shooting a suppressed rifle. And on top of that, it's so ridiculously accurate that I've been able to successfully draw smiley faces on silhouette targets at 50 yards with this gun. And even to add to it, my kids love shooting this gun because it's hard to fail with it. You're always very successful, it's easy to shoot, it's not real loud and obnoxious, and it doesn't have a lot of recoil. And anytime I can get the kids out shooting and them enjoying it, it's a big win for all of us. Number 2, the SKS. Now I have a few SKSs because I absolutely love the SKS platform. I have 2 Russian SKSs and I have a Chinese paratrooper. I bought the 2 Russians primarily because I have 2 boys and that's their hunting rifles. And I bought the paratrooper for myself, but I love the SKS. It's always a pleasure to shoot. So smooth, so reliable, so accurate, just simply a beautiful rifle. Number 3, the ITM AT-84 made in Solothurn, Switzerland. This is an incredible gun and a lot of people have never heard of this gun. I've done a few reviews on it and really what it is in the mid-80s, a small firearms manufacturer in Switzerland were making essentially CZ clones. But this is by far the best CZ clone out there. It's actually significantly better than a CZ75 itself. It's ridiculously accurate. Easy to shoot. I have 7 magazines for this handgun and I often carry it because it's just so ridiculously accurate and just simply a pleasure to shoot. It's super smooth, very little recoil, and I get the best groups out of this gun than any handgun I've ever owned in my life. And that's why I carry it and that's why it's one of my favorites. Number 4, the Colt LE6920. I've gone through a few ARs. Oftentimes I'll acquire an AR and then I get rid of it. I acquire another one, get rid of it. This one I just never want to get rid of. I think Colt has truly mastered the AR platform and in ways that a lot of other AR companies have not. The LE6920 is a significant AR-15 in its durability, its construction, and its reliability. It's very accurate. It always is up for the task. And out of all the ARs out there, I wouldn't trade it for any of them. Number 5, a full-size Rock Island 22 TCM. I've done several videos on the 22 TCM round. And a 22 TCM is really like a 223 short. I love the fact that I essentially can put a rifle round in a 1911 format and being a double stack, it holds 18 rounds. It's really a significant handgun if you're going to be in the business of protecting somebody. So for example, if you're at a church or a school or somewhere where you're kind of the guy in charge of making sure that the bad guys show up, you're the one that runs forward while everybody else is running backwards. And when I'm in those positions at school or church, this is what I often carry because it kind of evens the odds if somebody shows up with a semi-automatic rifle. You're now kind of even, but yet you have it in a 1911 format. But on top of that, it is such a hoot to shoot this gun. I mean, it puts out a fireball the size of a beach ball when you shoot it. There's no recoil at all. It's like shooting a .22 handgun, and the explosion is just massive, that it draws a lot of attention. It just really puts a smile on my face every time I shoot my .22 TCM. Number 6, the Mossberg 590 Shockwave. The Mossberg 500 series is always a great shotgun platform, and that's not why I like this. I specifically like the Shockwave because of its ability to not be a short-barreled shotgun, nor to be a shotgun handgun. they've made the barrel 14 inches and the overall length over 26 inches, which just counts it as a firearm. So essentially, this is a gun I could leave loaded in my vehicle. I could have it laying under the bed. I could carry it around the woods and it stays out of the way. It's really an all-purpose firearm that is just absolutely exceptional. I think a lot of people have greatly misunderstood the Shockwave and they think it's kind of impractical, but the way that it shoots is just perfect and it feels ergonomically wonderful, and I think a lot of people kind of steer away from it because they're concerned about the ergonomics, and rightfully so, but very unnecessary. Once you put a few rounds to this, you realize this is one of the best shotguns you're ever gonna own. Number 7, a 3-screw Ruger Blackhawk and .357 Magnum. I've done several videos on the Ruger Blackhawk, and it's no mystery that I'm a big fan of the Ruger Blackhawk, but I've specifically liked the 3-screw because of the action. It's the best action I've ever felt on a revolver, and it's one of the most accurate revolvers on the planet. I love the .357 Magnum over a .44 Magnum. It's just more of a pleasure to shoot. I also like the shorter barrel. I do have a 3-screw .44 Magnum, but it's not on this list because it's just not as fun to shoot, and I'm not a big fan of the real long barrel. It's great for hunting, but give me the option, I'll take the shorter .357 Magnum Ruger Blackhawk any day. It's one of those guns I will never get rid of. Number 8, the Sig Sauer P250 Subcompact. P250 is really nothing special, and a lot of people may wonder, why is it on his favorite list? But again, I've done several videos on this gun. I have not found a better CCW pistol out there. I've looked and looked and I've tried many hundreds of guns, and nothing compares to this gun. It's double action only, but it's got the smoothest double action trigger on the planet. Why is it my favorite, being a double action only pistol? Because quite honestly, it's a point and shoot, ready to go pistol, much like a revolver, but a much better trigger. And you could put a 12-round magazine, a 15 or an 18-round magazine in there, and you're ready to go. So if you have to draw on somebody, you're not gonna have a better pistol to do it with. And oftentimes when I carry this pistol is usually when I go into some sketchy areas that I'm a little worried about my safety. This is the gun that I'm gonna bring before I go there. More so, I've never put more rounds through any other gun as I have the Sig Sauer P250. It's just the gun I've shot the most, it's the one I trust the most, and that's why it's on this list. Number 9, the Ruger SR22. Kind of a strange gun to put on this list, but I have it on the list for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's my wife's concealed carry weapon, and that's why it's one of my favorites. It's a gun that keeps my wife safe. Now, the reason she carries the Ruger SR22 is primarily because she has fibromyalgia, and when I take her to the range and put a 9mm or a .380 in her hands, she just kind of takes 1 or 2 shots and gives it back to me and says, I'm done. This gun, she can shoot all day long, and she's very proficient with it. She likes shooting it, and it never hurts her. The other reason is because I love shooting this thing. It's accurate, it's reliable. I've never had a malfunction in this, and that's kind of uncommon for rimfire rounds. That a lot of times you're gonna have every now and then a misfire. I've never had one. It's always a pleasure to shoot. It's small enough to conceal carry, and it's very accurate. But again, the number 1 reason is because it's the gun that protects my wife, which makes it my favorite. And finally, number 10, Schmidt Ruben 9611, made in Switzerland. Love this gun. This is my all-time favorite gun that I own, and that's why I put it in the last position. I got this 9611 that I stumbled across at a gun show in Overland Park, Kansas. And when I saw it, I couldn't believe the condition it's in. It's almost like somebody issued it to a Swiss soldier, and then he put it in his closet and left it there for 100 years and pulled it out of his closet, took it to Overland Park, Kansas, and sold it to me. It looks brand new. It shoots like it's brand new. It may quite possibly be the most accurate .30 caliber rifle I've ever owned. When I want to do long range shooting, this is always the gun that I bring. I take it over any Remington 700 or anything you can throw out there. I wouldn't trade this for a $10,000 precision rifle. It's beautiful and it definitely gets the job done. But on top of that, if you can get a hold of these Swiss 7.5 by 55 rounds, I've heard people say that you can't load ammo better than the Swiss do. It's one of my all-time favorite guns to just look at and shoot. It's always a pleasure to get a hold of this 9611. And on top of that, it may be the nicest one I've ever seen in existence. So there you go. There's my top 10 list of my favorite guns. If you have any that you like, definitely put them in the comments below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. You can also now find us at godfamilyguns.org and also on Facebook. You can also now be a patron of this channel, and our Patreon link is below. But by far, the most important part of this YouTube channel is it's a ministry to us, and we take prayer requests, so please don't ever hesitate to send that stuff in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, Guns, and as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.